he's a loose cannon. I mean, he's somebody who has said so many things, and I'm sure he'll be scrambling and his advisors will be scrambling, but he's already said all of these things. He says climate change is a Chinese hoax, and I think it's real, and we've got to pull the world together to deal with it. So you can go down a long list, some of which he's tried to bob and weave a little bit, but I think it's a risk. I think he is a loose cannon, and loose cannons tend to misfire.
A climate change, a Chinese hoax? No, that was an Al Gore hoax. But anyway, I digress. With Miranda Kahn, J.D. Hayworth, that was Hillary Clinton with Anderson Cooper on CNN, and we heard her say, what, 3 times loose cannon?
Yes.
In describing Donald Trump. Well, it is time for a general election. Even though Hillary's not locked up the Democrat nomination, she's got those super delegates. And a guy who knows how Democrats act is a guy who used to represent Chicago as a Republican, a political rarity. My old congressional colleague, Michael Patrick Flanagan. Mike, thanks for hanging in with us. We're going to go back to the phones right now. From Hollywood, Florida, let's welcome Jewel to Newsmax Prime. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
What's on your mind tonight, Jewel?
Okay, I'm sure Mr. Trump doesn't need my advice, but I think Mr. Kasich will do very good VP ticket for him. I think Mr. Colin Powell will be very good for Secretary of State. And I think Mr. Newt Gingrich will be excellent for Chief of Staff.
Interesting.
You've really thought this out there, yeah.
In fact, Jewel, might the Trump folks might perhaps listen to what he has to say. He gave us the lineup there, Michael Patrick Flanagan. It is interesting about John Kasich, born in McKees Rocks, Pennsylvania, governor of Ohio, those 2 key electoral states in the Northeast. What say you, pal?
Wouldn't it be great to have Trump and Kasich together and have the Donald say, I have to deal with Putin and ISIS today. You go up to the Hill and balance the budget. Well, I'll meet you on Friday and we'll talk about it. I mean, talk about a twofer. This would be an awesome teaming, and it should make everybody happy who has some reservations about Trump that Kasich is there.
But Michael, I got to ask you, I couldn't help but notice that Kasich didn't even mention Trump when he decided to suspend his race today. I mean, not a word from him or about him or Cruz.
Well, there's a dance that goes on about these things, and what are we going to do together, and how are we going to get it done? I heard in an earlier segment of your show, JD, which I watch copiously and recommend everyone do. That,
Good man.
Well, it's true. It's true. I saw that someone was talking about how when is Cruz going to come around, and Cruz owes a olive leaf to Trump. Well, no, I'm kind of in the other camp. The winner needs to turn around and reach out and help. And I think Trump will do that again and again. And I think Cruz will come around before the convention. But even at the convention, there's going to be there's going to be a motion to make the vote unanimous, and everyone will give little speeches. And at that time, if not before, and I'm sure it'll come before, but even at that moment, Cruz will have an opportunity to pledge his delegates for a unanimous roll call and get that done. So we're going to come together. It's
understandable.
Going to
all right, and we're going to make this unanimous. We're going to go back to the phones. Checking in from Newport, Rhode Island, we've got Dale on the line. Good evening, Dale.
Good evening.
Good to have you along. What's on your mind?
Well, thank you very much. I'm talking about the VP slot. I think you're kind of missing the boat by thinking about the ones that Trump already whipped. I think people are tired of hearing about them, and I'm sure Trump will pick somebody like, hopefully, maybe Duncan Hunter from California, or his son from Texas, or possibly Jeff Sessions, or Allie West. My picks.
That's really interesting. And Michael, during the break, Miranda and I were talking about Colonel West. He now lives in Texas, but he represented Florida in the Congress, military background, African-American conservative. A lot of boxes get checked off, and he's a quality guy. What about Colonel West on the ticket?
I had an opportunity to meet and talk with Colonel West just this week, and I think he's a terrific guy. It's wonderful to have a bench so deep that you can just tick off name after name after name and have them all be great choices. And Mike Huckabee was on the television this morning. I saw him, and he was saying, well, the first sure clue about who's really being considered is that they don't talk about it, and they're not in the mix of those who are talking about it. So I want to announce today, JD, that I'm no longer talking about the vice presidential.
There we have it. A revolutionary pick, a Chicago Republican, who would, well, you know, this is the thing about Trump. He's a big city guy. He could counterpunch. And boy, living in Cook County, Chicago, Illinois, Michael Patrick Flanagan, if you're a Republican, you learned to counterpunch pretty early in life. Last word to you, sir. We've got about 20 seconds left.
I think we're in for an exciting 6 months. We're going to beat Hillary standing still, and it's going to be a very, very exciting time and a very great presidency coming up.
And as we used to say, from your lips to God's ears. Thanks so much, Michael Patrick Flanagan, tonight from Newsmax, Washington. You heard it from former Congressman Flanagan.
It's nice that he has so many different options, right, Trump, when it comes to VP.
It's nice he's got one option, which is victory in November. We say goodbye to Miranda and to Michael. You stick around. More to come right after this.